triple solid stager boosting, I don't know what to call it. Anyway, I got 3 sets of 3 solid boosters, and this is supposed to just shoot me up into space so I can use all my fuel to get to the moon and back, and we are probably going to be leaving some space debris in the form of a big giant tube in space. You know, like the early Apollo days. There's a lot of room in space. They said, now look at us. We have what, 30,000 objects that we track, larger than, I don't know, what, 3 centimeters? Who knows? I know there's a certain orbit in space that's uninhabitable because of some satellite collisions, and it's a mess. You fly through it, but you don't orbit in it. Anyway, I've seen some studies that are saying that we won't be able to fly orbit anywhere on our Earth area, anywhere near in the future. It'll just be too dangerous. So we have to figure out a way to go clean it up. Anyway, I don't know if this contraption's going to work, so let's just see what happens. What the heck? If it does happen, I'm just going to head on to orbit. So this is going to be a matter of monitoring my solid fuel situation. This is where I might blow up after this first stage of ejection. And we'll see what happens. Alright, now I'm going to have to let that... Even if I have to carry empty tanks, I'm going to have to let these finish. And if I could get back into engineering, I need to remedy that. I would slow down those so they're actually burning with these. Let's see what that left us with. Alright, we're in space. So I can cut my throttle way back. I don't want to drop below 800. I'm going to start my tilt. And I'm starting to drop below 800, so I'm going to give it some gas. Back to 800, please. Alright, as long as it's moving slow and I'm not too far below 8, I'm not too worried. Don't really care how high my orbit is. Of course, I can start to translate that into normal speed this way. If I want to. Of course, I'm not efficient at all, and I'm pushing against. I'm actually driving this, which there's a cost in fuel to that. If I hang around it, it doesn't cost me extra fuel, but to pull, to level this out and direct all my energy vertically, there's a cost for that. Look, was dropped below 800, but now I'm building back to it, and that's it. 66 throttle right there. Alright, but I'm going to put it down on 33 throttle, see what happens. I'm still going up, so I'm going to leave it there. 33% throttle. 33, 66, 100. All you math geniuses out there technically know that's the 33rd and a third. And a third, and a third of a third, and a 33, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 with an infinite 3. And anyway, so as this gets down to 30 seconds, I will put that on its node, and then I'm going to try to lock that up at 30. And I'm also going to keep it at 10 while this goes down to horizon. My vector goes to the horizon. My nose will point to 10, 15, or 20. Either of those are good. You can keep pulling it down to 10 or 15 if you want. You can see we're at 22, 21, so my 30 mark's pretty good. So it's marching down, but it's marching slow. And I'm going for 2250. And I'm going to go check my gas. So, not doing that good. So I'm going to put it here. A little more better fuel mileage. And that's actually moving away from me now. So I'm going to pull the gas to where I have it frozen. Or marching to me slowly. A16. 15. Boy, that was a long second. 14. 13. Let's just go check it real quick. We're gonna run out of gas any second, so it's 15. And here we come. We're out of gas, so I'm going full bore right now just until I can get a handle on this. Alright, I got a handle quick. Okay, I'm going to freeze that up at 6. Alright, it's frozen at 5, and I'm above 19, so then I do that. It's going to come at me fast. I goose it, stop it at 2250. I can toy with it a little if I want. See me toying with it? I'm just keep it localized right on top of me. And then I'm trying to get 2250. I usually don't play with it that much. Alright, so now it's doing the slow walk back. And I'm doing the creepy creep up. So let's go look at the... looks like we have achieved space. And right now what we're trying to do is achieve an equilibrium orbit, like a concentric orbit, which means your perigee and your apogee, or your periapsis and your apoapsis, is on a similar plane. And I do that by setting these up perpendicular to me, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to put one there and one there. And I'm a little worried about gas now, because we're supposed to orbit the moon, and I don't know. Gosh, I don't know if I have enough to orbit and get home. But we're gonna... That was primarily an experimental craft. I'm gonna start doing science just like I'm gonna make it. Alright, so what I just did was collect some EVA reports. One from the water, flying above the water, and one from the grasslands. And because we have solar panels, we can just transmit those. And we'll want to let our electricity replenish. I think above 70. I'll do it at 50. Let's see what happens. Alright, at 50 it dropped it down to 8, so it looks like we need 42 to transmit a crew report, or an EVA report. I'm going to take him back out there again, and we're going to collect data and restore the material bay. Let's look at that data now. 25 science points, 12 if we transmit it. We'll keep that, take it back with us manually. And it looks like our electrical charge is going up. So this is the beauty of solar panels. It's like free electricity, in a way. I mean, we have to earn it by charging them. But we don't have to consider it a non-renewable resource. So the next thing we need to do is get into orbit. I'm sorry, we need to go to the planetary body called the moon. Anyway, so we'll set it as target. I will determine my deviation is 0.6. On the ascending node, that's a plus 0.6. So what you do is you go to this ascending, descending. This is the positive one. The negative's the other one with no little lines. And let's go ahead and accelerate our time and get up there. All right. And as we close in on it, we just give it gas. And it starts to move with us. Doesn't take a lot. We're moving towards it, but it's also moving, and you can see it's going down too. And then the closer you get to 0, and the closer you get to it, the less gas you need. I'm on nothing, and it's at 0 now. So I'm going to let it line up and hope I didn't shoot past. Anyway, that was maybe a little too much. Did you see it go? Alright, so the next thing we need to do is put it on the prograde, and then let's accelerate around till our prograde is on 270, or not our prograde, but let's say the moon's retrograde mark is on 270. Okay, so bring this down to 270, and then I'm going to stop it. I didn't quite make it. This is so I could get back here and see what's going on. And what this tells me here is that that moon's getting ready to come over the horizon. Let's speed it up again. And look, we put it on 270. Well, opposite of 270. I'm going to bring it down right there, and then let's see what that does. Now, as I go back into the world, you will see here comes the moon right now. That's perfect. So this is where we give it gas. And this is where I'm concerned. Let me go back here. And we're going to try to create a influence of the moon periapsis of 25,000. Now what does that mean? It means we're going to get our highest point away from Kerbal is going to be low enough to the influence of the moon where the gravity's going to grab us. When it grabs us, we're going to slow down. We're going to use it. We're going to use our thrusters simultaneously. An act called celestial mechanics, or astromechanics. Astral mechanics. I guess it could be astromechanics, since if you're in an astronaut ship, and it would be astral mechanics if it was occurring naturally. I'm not really sure. Some of these terms I've heard them go either and or, and they're both correct. So, periaptic. I'm very worried about the gas. and we're going to put it on 25 without too much worries. There, I'll go for 14. So, what I'm going to do is turn that there. We do have solar panels, so we won't have to worry about that, but we need to take off into Earth orbit. Or Moon orbit. We'll get up there. We'll see how much gas it takes. All right. So we're about right on it. And what I need to do is just give it gas now. Slow that thing down. Now that probably counts. But it's not concentric. But I'm sure the game or the simulator would have given me credit for that. And oh boy, I feel like I barely have enough gas to get home now. 50. We'll work with it. We'll work with it. So, let's go see what we've got. Alright, I know it looks like I've got a heck of a lot of science I can do. Temperature scan, crew report, material study, 75 points. Wow, it was only 50 far away. Material goo, 30. EVA report. And then report. Atmospheric pressure scan. Alright, so what the scientist has to do now is go back on his EVA, start collecting this. Collect. Remove. Let's get a little up. Walk up the ladder a little on the W. Collect data. Remove. Alright, I'm going to assume that those are a little far for me at this point in time, and I may actually let the pilot collect those. He doesn't need to restore anything. So, let's board. Now I'm going to take the pilot on an EVA just because he should be able to see this too. And we'll take the data. Take the data. Wonder if I can store it down here. Nope. I'll just board. And we'll store it up here in the top one. Alright, so let's not fly around like this. Let's go ahead and put it in a more appropriate position. It looks like we've got available experiments. We just lost them. For some reason, we must have been over a crater of some sorts. The good news is we're coming back. Anything we missed, we're in an orbit. So you should be able to take readings over this crater, readings over this, whatever this was we just missed. And anyway, so let me just try to accelerate this process. Oh, one thing we want to do while we're here, maybe we got a crew report, and we will go ahead and transmit that back to Earth. And I got an EVA report to do. That's the lowlands. Got another EVA report I can... Okay, let's board. Alright. Now this is over Midland Crater. See, it's two different things. And I'm going to review my stored data here, which we'll just deliver that home. We'll let him keep all the temperature and barometrics, and we'll keep all the material bay and mystery goo down here. So we can review our stored data. And if we want to, we could send those back. But I would rather do that in space where we're not dipping down to the dark side, and we have continuous charge on our panels and time. We got nothing to do but let panels recharge in our 7.5 hour journey back, maybe longer. I'm really concerned about fuel. So what we're gonna do is when we get to about here, we're going to make it grow into this direction till the Earth grabs us back. And what we're doing is we're trying to get back in the good graces of the gravity of, and we'll be doing that with our prograde. So what we do in the meantime is fly and collect any experiments or science we can. I have got the time accelerator down because you don't want to sit here for 30 minutes while we orbit the moon. It's okay when you're at home. Sometimes you've got the TV on and you're just kind of orbiting the moon and you're like, okay, here it is, and it's not really an inconvenience. So did you see that? I was sped up. I saw that I had some science to collect, and then I slowed back down. So we're coming over the crater. We'll get it again. About right here, I'm thinking. All right. And this is called the East Farside Crater. And do not forget to board. Do not leave your Kerbal out there. After 6 minutes, he'll die. At least that's how it was set up for EVAs. EVAs, Kerbals on EVAs more than 6 minutes, the game cleans you or kills you. Or I'm not really sure, but don't hit your time accelerator with your Kerbal hanging on the side of your spaceship. Don't get busy. You'll lose him forever. All right, so let's see where we are. We need to be a little more. We need to be more like that crater. So we're going to accelerate again. Now I could actually maybe send a crew report. Let's just send one. We'll keep the rest. It refused. We're not in range. Here's a nice little valley coming up. All right. I'm just going to have to accelerate through the beauty of it. Oh, look at all that. I think I missed one. Did you see me fly right over it? It might have been like the moon's highlands, which will come up on the other side of this too. Or maybe they have moon badlands. See me hitting it slow every time I see what looks like a crater. All right, this is getting to the point where we need to actually be there. I remember, yeah. So anyway, what we're gonna do is give it some gas. I'm gonna go collect the report and then I'm gonna give it some gas. And I'm not gonna forget to bring my Kerbal inside. There we go. Alright, so go ahead and give it some gas on the pro grade. And we're gonna send this till we release from the moon. Alright. Then we're gonna come to here. Boy, we do not want to come to there. We want to come to here. So what we're going to do is we're going to accelerate. We should be saying goodbye to the moon, but when you play, go ahead and look at all the beauty all you want. I have to get this video done, or no one will ever watch it. They probably won't anyway. Alright, as soon as that's blue, lo and behold, we have science we can do, material study. Which I'll go ahead and just take care of that now. Collect data, restore. They may have some mods that just do that in the push of a button. In the beginning, you don't mind doing it, but after you've done it 1,000 times, you're like, man, I wish I could just push a button. Alright, so now we have to get in the retrograde mode, or slow down, and we're going to have to put this on a better place. So, let's bring that down. And we're going for 39. And we hope we don't run out of gas. Look, that's 14, 13, 11, 7. Oh my goodness, I'm at 6. But I'm at 46 too. Now, 39 is going to be awful fast. If we put it on 46, we might get thrown out of orbit. But one thing that it's not going to do is plunge us into Kerbal hell. You put it below 29 and that's great, but we'll be moving way too fast at that point. So let's go back here. We're in space. I'm going to take a moment and send data that can be sent. And it takes 42, so I have to be above 42. Do the next one. You can see it takes it down, then it gives it back. And it's all very, the recharge is very nice. Look at that. We're just waiting for 42. A little over for good measure, and we'll push it. Alright, nothing aborted. Now, you know why we do this, right? This way, if we don't make it back, the science does. And it's a good way to test your equipment, keep the communications open, discover any bugs, get things worked out before the next phase of the mission. If we thought we had a system critical by which doing this would break it, we wouldn't do this. But you don't always know. Okay, so we're actually out of transmitting range now for some reason. Let's see what's going on. apparently we shouldn't be. That is strange. Did our antenna break? Where is it? I can't see the antenna anymore. And I had forgotten where I'd installed it. Let me look. There it is. Alright, I want to know what's going on. Alright, for whatever reason, sunspots, we can't transmit anymore. So, let's go back, and we are going to accelerate. And the one thing I'm going to do while I accelerate is I'm going to watch my... Okay, we can transmit now. Alright, going back. Looks like I can push it twice. Then I'll have to wait till it gets up to 42 before I push it a third time. Now, if we thought we were going to die for sure, or there was a high probability to it, we would transmit that data. I'm not overly concerned myself. One thing we might consider is a secondary GU report at 3.5. Why not? Now I get to do my EVA. Climb up a little to get to that GU. Alright, collect data. Restore. Back down, and we were bored. So, let me get a little closer to our I'm going to stop it before I get there. Actually, I need to go check on, and then we'll ease into it if we need to. But let's go ahead and put it in retrograde. Everything but this spotlight. And we don't need cabin lights. But it's nice to have lighting in the dark. And we're chewing it up, baby. Look at that. It'd be really nice to have a battery or two, just because, so we didn't have it cut it so close. Materials bay may not survive, and we will not have time to collect it, but we will take it. And I'll take a mystery goo too. We have time, but barely. And I'm not doing it. I don't want to vaporize my Kerbal at 50 something. So we're gonna see if we can. We close the doors. The data's still there. Time to finish the gas. This will peel it off like that. Okay. Then as it starts to get hot, we're gonna eject before it blows. Alright. It's starting to squirrel on us too, so we go ahead and get rid of it now. Now we're not teeter-tottering, waving back and forth, because we got a big old long thing stuck on our end. And the one thing we're doing now is we're heating up this landing capsule because the ablation is not perfect. You can see the ablator has already pulled itself 10 points down. And we're still putting heat into our capsule. We're real sorry, Bob, but we're going to warm you up. Now, while we're waiting for Bob to blow up or not blow up, and I don't think he will, you can see that we are still going down in altitude. No, we are not. We are going up in altitude, but this is going down. So what's going to happen is we're going to come out of this, and we're going to have probably a 45-minute detour. We're going to come back into the atmosphere and pull this down again. And the reason this is good is we're not going to basically overheat and blow up. And we should come out into the sun again and recharge all our batteries. So, as hot as this must be right now, I don't want to get out, but I will. Once above 70, we can do our thing. As we get up to this peak again, we'll be cooled down enough, and I can go outside and collect that data again. And I can stop my electrical drain by turning this off for now. I can turn it off completely. I still have some drain. Anyway, we hope that this changes. We'll point that up towards the sky. And our solar panels, we have less now than we did on the other portion. And had I known that we weren't going to come all the way, I might have tried to keep that a little longer to see if we could keep it just for its charging ability. But, you know, we don't need to charge fast, and we're already charging up. So, I'm going to take this moment to accelerate. Alright, at this point in time, once again, I will be collecting the data. And I will restore it. I'll do the same on the goo. And then I will restore it. let's go re-enter our ablative burn, our angle. There's where we came from, right there. Alright, I've got the time acceleration on. It should turn itself off at 70 at this low speed. So yeah, it just corrected itself. Before we get into the heat at in the 50s, I'm going to go ahead and put it there. I might turn my lights off. They are sucking my juice. Goodness, if you're going to put up lights, you better have some batteries. Alright, so as we approach the periapsis at 45.5, you'll see that this is coming down. Had we put it on 29, we may not have blown up, but it's definitely wouldn't have been as safe. It would have been a sharper angle, more heat, more time to get our speed down. The atmosphere wouldn't have slowed us down as much as it is now. What you can do is watch this. As long as that's going down, then you're okay. Come back to 0 and then it can start going back down. But if you're going down, you're coming to Earth. If you're going up, then you're pulling past your apoapsis and it's still trying to decide. But until we hit 70, see, we're at 45 now. We've passed the center, but this is still coming down. Remember, we were like almost twice this. So we're gonna sit here and see if that arrow is up as we cross the 70,000 meter threshold. Will our vertical speed arrow be pointing above 0 or below 0 is the question. So although we're rising, the apoapsis is falling. Hopefully faster than us. So see, we're going up now, and we're actually picking up our vertical speed, which is not good. Well, it's not the worst, but we were hoping to come home now, not later. Let's just go check. We're at 50. Let's see what's happening. Yeah, we'll come back down next rotation for sure. And it's a 40-minute delay at this point, which is nothing for safety. You'll take 40 minutes to be safe every time. Every time. Alright, so as we get closer to 70 and this starts to increase, that's a pretty good sign that our apoaptic decline is not going to be outpaced. Do you remember 47 too? Then we went to 45-ish, and now by the time we pull out, it's going to be at 43. So we're also losing 2,000 on here. And as our periapsis gets shorter and we start plunging deeper into the planet, you will see that our apoapsis is pulled down even more. Alright, so once again, I'm sorry for the yawn. This is my second or third take, and I'm starting to get tired of it. But that's good because it's about over. Alright, at 4, it should stop us manually at 70. And it did. And here we go again. Full electrical charge. And as you can see, it doesn't peel off real fast, but by the time it gets to there, it's gonna be, we'll be way down. Probably entering back into orbit. Actually, we'll never enter into orbit. We're coming back. Ideally, and this is Apollo space program ideal, not Kerbal sandbox real, but ideally you would like to land in a daylight area. Anyway, it's more consistent now, but we're dropping 1,000 meters per minute every second, like 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's faster than 1,000 meters per second. And let's go see if it indicates as such. It's not indicating the vertical speed of 1,000 meters per second, but that may be because we're also traveling in a horizontal fashion rather than straight down. But you can see our speeds coming down to the 2250. When it hits 2250, we'll start falling back to the planet. At least if we are lower than 70, we will. And as you can see, we're approaching, we're even going to hit it at about 40 or 41, which is another drop on the backside. So tick, 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 tick. And I actually think we're going to make it this time, and we're going to slip around to the right, the light side. And you probably never quit the fire. You can see we've already burned off almost half of our ablation, and we won't need. We've already exceeded everything, so we're not going to burn it all off. But without it, we would have blown up, overheated. All right, so now you can see our periapsis is at 19, 17, 16. This is catching us. We are coming down, and we're probably coming down on this peninsula right here, or this we might come down right on top of Kerbal. Wouldn't that be a pleasant surprise? Kerbal Space Center. It doesn't, I don't look there. I seriously don't think we're going to make it, but the other thing I hope we don't do is hit the mountain just to the east of it, which has a 5,500 foot peak above sea level. Or is it 6,500? It's one of those. I know if you take your airplane and fly at 270 out of Kerbal, or would that be 90? Yeah, no, fly at 270, which is the opposite of Kerbal, straight at that mountain. You need to get to 6,000 feet to clear it. I just always get to 7,000 feet. If my airplane doesn't have the ability, then I will fly around it. I just don't have a choice. If you can't climb it, you can go around it. Anyway, we're just at the mercy of the fall here. I've got all my parachutes automated, so I could literally pull the button now, like this. It's not going to matter. Boy, that caused a pause. Anyway, it's not going to matter. I'm going to fall. The chute's open somewhere between 7,000 and 3,000 meters above sea level, or maybe above the ground. And as you can see, we will not make K. We're not going to hit the mountain either. We'll probably fall in what we call the highlands or the eastern desert. There's a little desert right here. Let's go see what's happening. All right, let's bring the lights back on. And the reason I have the lights on is because we're landing in the dark. And this would help any rescue craft spot us. Crew report. Keep. Temperature scan. Keep. Can't do the EVA report. Not even feasible. Now what I might be able to do is, if this EVA report is still available as my parachutes flower open, then I can take it then. But stepping out now would just rip me off the craft, probably kill me. And I don't know if I have a personal parachute aboard. One thing I know is that these mystery goos, we have secondary readings that don't show up, so I'll keep that point 4. And then I'm going to do that EVA report as soon as this chute flowers here. And these chutes flower. EVA report. 1,200 feet above the ground. Alright, now we got plenty of time. So if I don't feel endangered, I'm going to collect the data and restore. Now, this scientist has been invaluable. Do you know how much energy or how much science we've collected because we have a guy that can reset and restore our reusable equipment? And I have available I have an available instrument, everyone aboard. The exception possibly could be crew report, and we're going to transmit that now. And that sucked our electricity to the bottom, but it also gives me the ability to do another crew report if I'm eligible or available to do one. And we won't be able to transmit any more data. Turn that one off, even though that probably lit up our chutes. Oh yeah, look at that. That's probably the best beacon we could have for ground control. They'd be able to see us a long way. And falling at 5.4 is almost a dream. All right. So that looks pretty good. We've used all our electricity, so I can't write anything. But what I can do is collect all these things. Collect all of them. Let me do it. Board back. Crew report. Anyway. Dang, we're just collecting right and left. And don't forget your secondary goo report. So what's going to happen is it's going to register as a full goo report here, but then you're going to end up getting less, like a 0.5 or a 0.7, because it'll say no, we don't accept 2 of them, but we'll accept 1 and 2. So it lied to me there, but it's okay because it doesn't know until it gets to the next step. So recover the vessel. Oh darn it, I wanted to see where I landed, but it's okay. That's right, it was on the Kerbal continent, but it was east of the mountain range. Which I did not even plan on coming near. That was just pure luck. Look at that. 561 science earned. 747,000 monetary units. He got some experience. Bob got his star. Look at this. Bob got his star, and lo and behold, Jebediah has passed Valentina. Anyway, I wouldn't know what to do with 561.9 experience points, but at 90 each, we figure we can have 5 of these. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. I like this adapter right here. I use it quite a bit actually. But I also use these things too, sometimes in conjunction with that adapter. So I may just go for the landing gear. I can do 2 more. So I'm going to do that one. And this one. Okay, so now I can actually build an airplane that flies halfway decent. With a jet powerful enough that I'm not just fighting completely. And we are, it looks like 160 points away from completing this tier. That should be easy. If we land and get our reports, we're coming back. Okay, so we need to rendezvous 2 vessels. We need to plant a flag on the moon. Why can't I accept that? Oh, max 2. My bad. Excuse me. Upgrade. I thought we already had, so that's why I was confused. Plant a flag on the moon. And anyway, all right, so I'm going to end this video here. It's probably way too long and nobody's going to watch it, but if you did, thank you very much for watching.